Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.
Good morning, fabulous first grade. Hey, I have a character that I love to read about. Have you read any of the Arthur stories by Mark Brown? He is so adorable and he has such great stories. This story is called Arthur's Tooth. And you know, Arthur's feeling really sad because he's the only one in his class that hasn't lost a tooth yet. And you know why I love this story? Because this reminds me of my own little girl. And when she was in second grade, she still had not lost any teeth, and she was heartbroken that all of her friends were getting visits from the tooth fairy and she wasn't. So this was one of her favorite stories. It kind of encouraged her. So this might be one you want to look at. You can check and see if it's on Sora or at your Fresno County Public Library. Now, speaking of Sora, we are ready to look at our top checkouts for this past week. Are you ready? Okay, so we're going to do one a day, and today in 5th spot is Hoover High School. Way to go, Patriots! Good job! That's incredible. All right, now tomorrow we're going to be checking to see who is in our 4th spot. And I want to tell you something that's super exciting. If you're reading a story about Arthur or anybody else, I want you to write to me and tell me about that book right here at the station. Because if you do, we're going to send you one of these super cool workbooks. And they have all kinds of fun activities, and I think you're going to really like it. And it's free. All you have to do is send me a letter or a picture and tell me something that you want me to know and share. I can't wait to hear from you. So send in a letter so that we can send you a fun activity book. Okay, it's time for us to wake up our brains. And it's time for us to train our ears for sound. Are you ready? Great. Today we are going to do a segmenting game. Do you remember segmenting is when we take a word apart sound by sound? So I'm going to tell you a word. You are going to take it apart sound by sound. And then we're going to talk about how many sounds we heard. Are you ready? Okay, here's the first one. Chin. Chin. Let's segment. Ch, I, n. Chin. How many sounds did you hear? Great job. What was that first sound? Ch. Super. Remember that because we're going to talk about that in a minute. All right, here's our second word. Are you ready? Itch. Itch. Oh, I have an itch. Ready? How many sounds? I, ch, itch. Only 2 sounds. Great job. All right, here's our last one for today. Are you ready? Whale. Whale. Wh, a, ul. Whale. How many sounds? 3. Good job. What's the first sound you heard? Wh. Good. Remember that because we're going to talk about that today. All right. Now we're going to practice our fluency. That's just a review of the sounds that we've already done. You probably already know them really well, but fluency helps us to get smooth and accurate. So we practice that so that when we're reading, we don't have to stop and try to remember what the sounds say. First, we're going to start with our ending blends. We've been working on ending blends a couple weeks, but it's always good to remember them, okay? All right, now sit up nice and tall. Use your great big voice and say the sounds with me. Ready? N-D says nd. N-K says nk. S-T says st. You're right. This can be a beginning blend too. Great thinking. Here's a beginning blend. S-K says sk. How about an ending blend? MP. MP says mp. SP says sp. SN says sn. SL says sl. CR says cr. Would we find this at the end of a word? No, we wouldn't. Good thinking. FR, fr, and TR, tr. Great job. Let's quickly review some of our sound spelling cards that we've been working on. A, apple, a. That's the short A sound. E, egg, e. Short E. I, insect, I. Short I. O, octopus, ah. Short O. U, umbrella, short U. And then last week we practiced the TH sound. Do you remember what that's called? Right, it's a digraph. That one, when we have two letters, but they only make one sound. They work like a team. You ready? This is the thumb card for TH, says th. Then we had the shell card. Shell says sh, SH, says sh. And then we had that strange sounding card, the NG. And remember I told you it's easier to put a vowel in front of it? Ing, eng, ong, ung. It says the ng sound, and it's pretty tricky. Well, today we are going to continue working on digraphs, but I have a few more to introduce to you. All right. Today, we're going to talk about the cheese card. Now, it's a little bit tricky because it has two ways to spell the ch sound. We can spell it with a CH, but we can also spell it with a TCH. Do you see this little line here? This line helps me to remember, oh, that can only go at the end of a word. And I'll give you some other clues about when to use it too. It can only go at the end of a word. So cheese, ch, CH, TCH. Now, we've seen the fire card before for the letter F, but there's also a digraph that says the F sound, and that's PH. F. PH says F, like in photo. And then we have the whale card. WH says hua. And I always give my first graders a little signal like a whale's tail. Hua, hua, like he's flipping his tail out of the water. Just sometimes it helps to have a little movement to help us remember. Let's take a look at some words with our digraphs. Are you ready? Super. All right, let's sound this one out, okay? Ch, a, p, chop. Chop. Great job. Now, here's the ch at the beginning of the word, but it can also be at the end of the word. Remember I told you that? So I'm going to build a new word, p, I, and then watch this. When I put our TCH, p, I, ch, pitch. Do you see how the TCH is at the end? It comes after a short vowel. If there's a short vowel right here and then you hear the ch sound, it's going to be the TCH. Okay? All right, we're going to work more on that all this week. But for right now, let's take a look at some of our digraph practice. Let me get my reading finger, and here we go. S, ch, such. Ch, at, chat. Ch, check. L, ch. Oh, I want to show this to you because this is kind of important. Remember I said TCH is at the end of the word when you hear the ch sound. But look, here we have the ch at the end of a word, but it's not TCH. Do you remember what else I told you was the clue? Right. This is not a short vowel. This is another consonant. When there's a consonant, lun, ch, then it's just a regular CH. If this was a vowel, like here, which. Which. Oh, well, that doesn't even follow the rule, does it? That was a bad example. How about catch? Catch. Do you see the short vowel? A, and then the ch sound. All right. So do you see why it's so confusing sometimes? Some of our words just don't follow the rules. That's why we have to be word detectives and really learn those sounds. All right. It's time for us to look at our high frequency words. Are you ready? All right, here we go. We're gonna read them and spell them. And if you have something to write with at home, I want you to also write them. This is called the read, spell, write routine. But since you're not here with me, I want you to write them at home, okay? All right, here we go. Say them nice and loud with me. This word is walk. Let's spell it. W-A-L-K, walk. Place. P-L-A-C-E, place. Many, M-A-N-Y, many. By, B-Y, by. Around, A-R-O-U-N-D, around. Okay, now it's time for us to identify our high frequency words. I have some little picture windows here, and we're going to read the sentences. I want you to see where the high frequency word is and shout it out. Ready? I sat by Chad at lunch. Did you hear one of our high frequency words? Which one did you see? By. Great job. So I'm going to put our little window right there to highlight it. Can you see it? Great. All right, let's read the next one. Will you walk with me? Which high frequency word is that? Yes, walk. Great job. Wow, you are really awake today. This is a good place to sit. Can you figure it out? Oh, I can't even trick you. There it is, place. She ran around the block. You're right, that's our great big word for the week, around. We have many fun books to read. Which one is it? Many. Good job. By, walk, place, around, many. I hope you'll take some time to write some sentences with our high frequency words and really get them locked in. Remember, those are the words that show up in everything we read. We want to know them as fast as we know our name. I'm so glad you came to our PBS classroom to work with me today. I hope you'll come back again tomorrow. Goodbye now, the clock says we're done. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Don't forget to send me a letter. Bye-bye.
Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.